Hey guys, Doc from the Gold Hog, and today is one of our first short videos that we're going to do, and it's on the Raptor Flare. This year we're going to do some short videos that are just specifically on products that give you real brief information, technical information, specifications, weights, sizes, different things. So the way we're going to do it this week, I'm going to take you out to the warehouse, and I set up one of the Raptors right off the line. I'm going to show you the Raptor setup and go over the specifications. So let's go ahead and let me go out and we'll go and do that first, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how we set it up and run it in the field. Hey guys, Doc from the Gold Hog, and today what am I shooting? Well, I'm shooting one of the first videos of our new series for 2017. We've decided that what we're going to do is we're going to make some short informational and spec videos on almost all of our units. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make hopefully a short video, go over all the specifications, talk about units, talk about pumps that we're using, what it comes with, specifications, etc. So the first one that we're going to do is we're going to do the Raptor Flare. Now, before I start, it's important to understand that a lot of our videos we do on our YouTube channel are somehow incorporated into a prospecting trip or informational videos, but we use a lot of the equipment. And a lot of times, some of the specification information is on those videos and it's hard to find. But you can go to our YouTube channel. The easiest way to find our YouTube channel is go to Google and just type in Gold Hog YouTube. It'll come up. I think it says Georgia Gold Guy is the handle on it, but you'll see about 120 videos there. I'll put that link up there too on the page. But you can go there and you can see a lot of videos we've done with the Raptor Flare. We've done extreme testing with it, very, very controlled testing. We've got hundreds and hundreds of tests, controlled tests with this unit, or all of our units, and we go ahead and put them up. Plus we use it and we'll go up looking for gold and gems and that kind of thing. So go to our YouTube channel if you want to see more information, want to see the unit running in depth. I think there's an owner's manual there, etc. So today I'm going to be shooting, I got a main camera here, I got a small camera here. I'm going to be shooting a few different things, but let's go over it and let's start. First, let's go ahead and let's talk about the quality of the units. Last year I made the decision to make a pretty major investment and go into the high-tech production lines that we have. For years we did what the majority of manufacturers do. We make end caps and we pop rivet everything in. That's the way we've done it for years, and it's a good quality, it's a good way to make a system. However, this year what we did is we went to our high-tech system, which is a very automated system, and what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you that instead of the riveting system, you won't find really any rivets on our product anymore. It's all welded. So let me show you that real quick. But you can see what I mean, that all these things here are now welded. Just about every joint you're going to see on this unit. So even if you go up to the header box system in here, all of these units now, everything is welded, but it makes for a real high quality finish, a real high quality product. We used to have variations in sluice widths. Now, pretty much now, everything is just because it's so automated, the quality of it has really gone up. We've also been able to reduce the price of the units because now what we're having to do when we fire this line up, we got to do a lot of units, so we've been able to bring the price down. So you're looking at a unit, if you do a comparison to what this unit is, you're going to find that it's very reasonably priced. So let me go over real quick, let's go over the size of the unit, some of the specs of the unit. Overall, I think it's right about 82 inches when it's fully assembled. You have a 36-inch top sluice, 36-inch flared sluice, and then a flare connector that's probably about 14 inches long, plus some overlap. The upper sluice is about 9 inches wide. It flares out down into about 14 inches wide. That's the overall size of the unit. Now I'm going to put up real quick, I'm going to put up a video clip of how I transport this unit, because it breaks down to a very reasonable size. It'll fit into actually a car. You don't even have to have a truck, but it'll actually fit into a very small truck or a passenger car. And this is how I transport the unit. You know, two people can take the whole thing down to the creek all at once. The overall weight on the unit is just over 50 pounds. It ships in one box, which is nice because we can ship it around. We ship it worldwide. It's our top selling unit. And I think the shipping weight on it is about 58 pounds or so. So you got to take out all the packing and boxing, so it's probably at about 52, 53 pounds, somewhere in there. Next, let's talk about what it comes with. And I'm going to take my camera over, little camera over here. I'm going to show you exactly what it comes with. The unit comes with exactly what you see right here. So it comes with all the matting pre-made. It comes with the initial plumbing system in it. Let me grab this over here. So everything you see is what it comes with. It's going to come with your plumbing system, comes with your aluminum grizzly system. It comes with the plumbing down to here. It's fitted at 1.5 inch. It comes with a reverse ramp riffle. It comes with the flap in it, comes with the matting, pre-cut, pre-made, comes with all your legs. So it comes with everything that you see right here. And I'm going to show you a couple options that you can get with this as well too. So that's the unit, that's what it comes with. When you order it, that's exactly what you're going to get. So let's talk about some of the options you can get with this unit. I'm going to go ahead and put up a little clip of the header box flares because there's no way for me to hold up the header box flares, but it's a 3-piece flare system. And what we generally do is I only put on 2 sides. So the reason why I only put on 2 of the sides is so that I can easily reach and dump into it. Then let's talk about the clay claw. The clay claw is probably one of the best inventions I came up with over the past year, and we're now offering it with almost all our units. So the Mini, the Raptor, and the Super Hog, you can get the clay claw with all of it. The clay claw fits inside the header box. So the clay claw fits inside the header box system here, and what it does is it holds the rocks. Your rocks will actually sit here and get washed. So, and then once they're totally clean, then you just simply lift this up and all the rocks run down your system. And you'll see that when we run with the clay claw, it really creates this destruction chamber, and that's the beautiful thing about this header box system. There's a lot of power inside this header box. It sits there and it washes and it washes and it washes, and then you decide when you want to let those rocks go. Nice thing about it, you could dump a whole 5-gallon bucket into this header box and just sit there and sort of walk away with it, which is kind of nice. All right, so let's talk about the plumbing system real quick. What we've done on this new design is we have a restrictor plug in here. It's actually just a bolt through this piece, and that puts back pressure. And then what you'll see is you'll see this slot right here. There's a secondary slot system right here. So you have your main destruction chamber in here, and then you have a fan spray, and that fan spray sort of flattens out the real aggression in here, slows the water down just a bit, gives you a double spray system. I'm going to put a clip of this header box system because that's so important to our units and how this works. It's a vital, integral part of why this system is so effective, is that destruction chamber. As it sits there and just boils and boils and boils, that clay claw sits there and it holds the rocks. As it comes down, it gets hit by a second fan spray, and then it goes off the grizzly system. So that's real important to our system, is the way that we designed this header box. It's taken us years to figure this out. This isn't something that we just came up with in a week. So the header box is adjustable. You can adjust it up and down based on how fast you want your rocks to be flowing out of here. Same thing, it comes with 2 different holes on it for the reverse ramp riffle, so you can control if you have excess water wanting to back out of here, you can control that and reduce that down. Again, the upper matting is going to be more aggressive. It's going to be a mixture of Talon, Scrubber, Cut, River Hog, a few different aggressive mats. Then we have a flapper here, and then we have a stopping system. The stopping system stops and spreads the water out, and then we go to a low flow mat system. So we have a low flow mat system where we have a piece of Talon in here, we have some Razorback, we have some Downdraft, and we have some Bedrock. This is the smooth section of the whole system. Again, I'm going to put up a little clip of the system running, and I want you to watch. I want you to watch for the difference in the water of the system. That narrow, deeper water is very aggressive and very fast. Then it goes down, it flares out, and it goes silky, silky smooth. So important. Again, almost everything we do, we change. We change the matting configuration, we change the width, we change the water depth, and we treat that slurry to something else. So it comes with your aluminum legs, your brackets, everything's included in here. Again, what I do is I set this pitch to about 9 degrees when I set up. I'm setting this one up to probably about 5 degrees. And when I set it up, what I want to do is I want to run some dirt through it, and then I stop it and I shut it down. And what I want to see is I want to check my lowest velocity mats, and I want to see a little bit of fine black sand in there. I do not want my mats to completely blow out, and that's how I tune it. So I'll set it up at 9, set it up at about 5, and then I'll visually tune it. That's how it's so important. If you have 1 or 2 people this unit will probably kill you because it can handle so much material. So it's really good. Don't feel like you're underbuying. Some people say, well, should I get a Super Hog? Let me tell you what, this thing will really perform. This thing will run a bucket in about 20-30 seconds in most cases. So you're looking at, you know, over 100 buckets an hour that you can run through this. And I don't think most people can dig that. We usually run this system. We have 3, 4, 5 people actually working with the system and just running it and running it and running it. How long, another question we constantly get is, how long do I run before cleanups? We typically clean out twice a day is what we do. Some people clean out earlier. We have commercial ops that run 12-hour shifts on our matting, bare matting systems. They run for 12 hours, and at the end of the day they shut down, they clean our mats, and they put them back in and get ready for the next day. Typically on something like this, 2 or 3 times a day I like to clean out, mainly just to see if the dirt that I'm working is profitable. So I want to go ahead and I want to talk to you about the pumps. I want to talk to you a little bit about the pumps and the relationship with plumbing. So the unit comes set up for a 1.5-inch plumbing system. So you might have to reduce it down. If you have a 2-inch pump, you may have to get a reducer either here or at your pump, reduce it down to 1.5. However, a lot of times what I like to do is, if I'm running, as an example, a lot of times I'll run my 2-inch Champion pump over here. So what I'll do is, this is just a little piece, couple pieces I bought at Lowe's. You can see it's just a little 2-inch female here. And I'll just take this, I reduced it down to 1.5, and I'll just put that in there, and now I've got a 2-inch. The reason why I say that is because the Champion pump comes with an intake, it comes with lay flat hose, it comes with everything you need. So if you want to just keep it 2-inch, you can run 2-inch at the pump. Now, one thing I do like to do is I like to take a piece of, this is dredge hose, and I like to take a piece of dredge hose and I put the dredge hose here, and this is about 6 feet long, and then I put a female connector here, female. And that way my lay flat hose can connect in here. You got to understand that lay flat hose has a tendency, it wants to actually kink. So that's why we like the dredge hose. If we're going to turn it, we're going to have a piece of dredge hose sitting there. So now let's stop for a minute and let's talk about pumps, because that's what a lot of people want to know. So I'm going to go talk about pumps. All right, so here's a $64,000 question. What pumps can I run with this unit? Well, you got a lot of choices on this. You know, in Canada, there's a lot of regulations that talk about 1.5-inch plumbing. So they can only run a 1.5-inch intake on systems when you're actually, so that's why this system really works well up in Canada, but in the US too. You can use 1.5-inch pumps. The only problem with 1.5-inch pumps is that not many people make inexpensive 1.5-inch pumps that work that well. So that's why we like to use 2-inch semi-trash pumps. 2-inch semi-trash pumps, you can get them everywhere for starting at like $150. One of my favorites, of course, is the Champion. That's the #1 pump I'll recommend. So this is the Champion pump. And the Champion pump, what I like about it is it's pretty cheap and it's pretty reliable. We've got 4 of these pumps and we've never had a problem with them other than us abusing them. It comes with a roll cage, it comes with wheels, it comes with an intake, and it comes with lay flat hose. You'll probably want to replace some of that later on, but it's a good place to start. So really, if you buy this pump and the Raptor Flare, you've got almost everything you need. Will you change out the intake? Probably so. Will you get a longer lay flat hose? Maybe so. But all in all, this pump and that unit, this pump runs about $250, $240. So you're talking about, in the combination, you're talking about a real reasonable unit. So that's my #1 choice. All right, so now let's say you want to go lightweight with the unit. You can run, this is the WX15 Honda pump. You can run it with this. This will run about, now this pump here runs about 8,000 GPH and about 42 PSI. This pump I think runs about 4,700 GPH and probably about 40s on the PSI too. This pump will work. It's not cheap. These 1.5 horsepower pumps are not cheap. It is a self-priming pump, which is nice. I would say you just want maybe a little bit more GPH and a little bit more PSI than going with this unit. But the Raptor system, but the flare unit will work with this system. These pumps run about 490 bucks, 500 bucks. It's a real good quality pump and it's lightweight, but they are expensive. So let's talk about the next pump. This is both, there are several places that make it. This happens to be a Keen pump. This is a Keen and this is the same engine. This is that 2.5 horsepower Honda pump engine with a Keen pump on it, and Joby also makes the same thing with a Joby pump on it. Now, these are high pressure pumps, and these will put out about 7,000 GPH, and I think the PSI is probably in the 60s or 70s. It's dramatically different than your standard one here. This one, these run at probably about $500 to $600 range, but man, let me tell you what, this is a great little unit. Now, the thing you need to understand about these pumps is it's a 1.5 inch in and it's a 1.25 out. So I've got a little adapter here. I've got a little adapter that takes a 1.25 to a 1.5. So now what I can do is I can run my 1.5 straight up to my unit and I'm all set. Now, these pumps are not self-priming. You got to understand that on the high pressure, on the Keen and the Joby. So that means you got to have a foot valve. That means you got to prime it. You got to sit there and you got to prime this pump. So they're not self-priming. The way to tell the difference most of the time is if you see a cap. If you see a cap on the top of a pump housing, that means typically it's a self-priming pump. There's no cap on this, and you're going to see this little, we call this a cheater valve because we actually use this and we actually pump water into here to help prime up the system. So if you see this kind of a system, it's not a self-priming, you're going to have a foot valve. If you see the cap on top of the pump, it's probably going to be a self-priming pump, and all the pumps will typically say self-priming or non-self-priming. Champion pump is a self-priming because it has a cap on the top of it. So it has a cap on the top, and that's how you prime it. Now, let's say, hey Doc, I want to dredge at some point. Can I dredge with this unit? Absolutely, you can convert it over. Standard is a 2-inch dredge. I have run it as a 2.5 as well. If you use a 2-inch, dredge system, you just get a dredge adapter, and the 2-inch dredge adapter will fit right through here. I show the unit converted over into a 2-inch. If I run a 2.5, I got to bring that hose over it. There's a video of me running it that way too. But if you ever plan to dredge, then you need to go to, and you don't want to use one of the 1.5, you want a full-size pump. This is what we'll go to next. This is a North Star. It's a Honda GX160 engine with a North Star pump. Northern Tool actually sells these. They're great little pumps. We use them on just about everything. They have right at 90 or 91 PSI and just over 8,000 GPH. Really, really strong pump. But we've run everything from a 2-inch dredge all the way up to, we run 2 of these to power a 5-inch and 6-inch dredge. So it's a really good system. It's a really good pump. The only thing you need to understand about this is that the impeller system is different on this. It has a very, very fine impeller system. And that's how you get it high pressure. If you do get one of these, you never start it without a fine screen. So here's a fine screen system. Now you can see on semi-trash pumps, I don't have to worry about it. I can run whatever I want on a semi-trash pump because that's why it's semi-trash. But what we do is we make up a fine screen basket. And I like to take it at least 1/8 of an inch, if not 1/16 of an inch, and I'll fine screen it. Reason being is you cannot pull this handle and allow sand or gravel or anything to come into those high pressure pumps. You just simply don't want to do it. You have to take that apart and you have to clean out the impeller system because you have rocks and gravel inside of it. Alrighty, so that's the Raptor flare system. The units, most of the time the units take just a couple of days on production, sometimes depending on the time of year. Sometimes they'll ship out the next day, sometimes they'll take 2 or 3 days, just depends on the demand of the unit at the time. Again, for the money, if you do comparisons on it, I think you'll find this is probably one of the best values on the market today. The overall quality, the performance of the unit, just phenomenal. Anyways, that's it from the shop over at Gold Hog. That's the information on the Raptor Flare. If you have any questions, shoot us an email. Goldhog. Hey guys, we're back out to the field now. We've done our specifications. I'm going to show you real quick how I transport the unit and how we set it up. Hook up the hoses, start it, and run it just for a bit, just so you can see it run. Hey guys, so this is how I transport the unit. I always have the shop set my units up like this, and you can see that I've got my mats inside of here. I've got my legs inside the unit. I've got the unit all assembled. All I have to do is just assemble the two parts here, and she's pretty much ready to roll. Hey guys, so we just taken it down to the creek, and what we've done is we've taken the legs out of the unit. We've set the two pieces end to end after we determine where we're going to set up. And all we're going to do now is the guys are going to connect those two pieces together first. Then they're going to put the smaller legs on. One thing that you want to do before you set this unit up, before you have to move it around a lot, you want to determine where your pump is going to go. You can see I've already got my lay flat hose down. But it's real important to understand that you need a good spot for your intake on your pump. So I always set up my pump first. I lay out my lay flat hose, and then what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a decline on the bank. I always want to set this unit up on a decline, and the reason being is if you set it up on a flat piece of ground, your header box has to come up to create pitch. If you set it on an angle piece of ground, you can lower that header box way down and still have that pitch. That's what I want to do. I want to get my header box as low as possible using that pitch. That way when I go to dump or if I shovel, I'm reaching much less higher than I would. If I'm on a flat piece of ground, I got to bring that header box way up. The header box is going to be up. It's going to be harder for me to pour inside. If I use the pitch, I can drop everything way down low. Hope that makes sense. So now what I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them just connect those two pieces together, and we'll show that real quick, and then we'll set up and we'll run it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is they're going to put the legs on one side at a time, or one end at a time. So go ahead and lift it up and put the legs in. And they're going to let it go almost all the way down to the bottom there. There you go. If you're doing this by yourself, it's a little tricky, but you just lift up the unit. Now they're going to put the other legs inside of it. Now you can see that the dramatic pitch that I've got here because of the fact that I've set up on a downward slope. You can see it just looks crazy steep, so that's a great thing. So now I don't have to have that header box way up high. So now what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and they're going to put the long legs on the header box. You just lift up your header box. Put the long legs on the header box. All right, so here's the step when you're setting it up. If you have the optional header flares, which is what we're going to run today, we've got two sides on here because we want to dump into here. I don't want to have to come over this side of the header box. So I'm going to be dumping into here. So only put two of these on if you're shoveling or bucket feeding. But here's the problem that comes into play. If you'll notice that this leg is hitting this header flare. And I may want to actually drop that down some. So how do I do that? Well, all you do is just dig a hole here. All you do is you just dig out down here, and that'll drop that. Give yourself a little bit of play up here so that you can adjust this if needed. But that's all we do is we just dig holes on our legs. Wherever we need to lower this down, we just dig the dirt out from under the leg hole. Now typically what I'm going to do is when I first set up, I'm just going to do a rough estimate on my pitch. Just sort of eyeball it. And what I'm going to do in most cases, for most people, I would say about 9 degrees on the top section here. And down on that lower section down here, about 6 degrees. That's a good place to start, and then you can fine tune it. So I'm just going to eyeball it, get it close, use my phone, take a phone app, pitch degree, get it close to 9 and 6, get everything set up, and then I'm going to put water inside of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to dump water in the header box and let water travel down here. We're going to let water tell us if this is level left to right. We no longer use any kind of gauges inside of here because we don't trust it, because the metal sides might be off a little bit. You never know. So always use water. Water will tell you if your unit is level left to right. Use a phone app or a digital angle indicator and get yourself down to about 9 and about 6. And that's how we get the unit. So that's the first thing I want to be concerned about. And I'm set up at about 9.9 here on the top one. I'm at about 6 degrees here. And you can see, because I've set on that downward slope, my header box is fairly low. I'll show someone standing next to that, but I had to bring this side up. So the mats are already in it, but I did want to show you real quick about the mats. This mat slides under this piece here, and a single bolt is going to go through here to hold it. When we come up to the top, we have a reverse ramp riffle installed here, which is under this flat. You can see the reverse ramp riffle. But the first thing we do is we put our mat in, then we put that little piece of hog moss, then we put in that little angle bar to hold everything down, then we put in our reverse ramp riffle. So this was all done before we came out here. So I'm pretty much all set up to run. The next thing I'm going to do is, I can tell right away I saw this, but this mat is not seated all the way down. So that's one thing. The next thing you want to do is you want to go through and make sure your mat is seated all the way. It's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see on people running the equipment for the first time, is they don't seat their mats properly all the way down. So I'm all seated. Now Quentin's going to go ahead and put that bolt in there, and then we'll level it with water. Okay, so what I did was, I'm going to get this from this angle, is I am having Trey stand next to this unit so you can see just how low that header box is set up. So look at him, and Trey, that's probably the lowest you've had a header box in how long? A long time. And that's because we've set up on a nice downhill slope. Now the other thing we've done, if you've noticed, what have we done? We've dug out the holes where the header box legs go. So we've lowered that down. And I always take a scrap piece of rubber. It doesn't matter what it is, any kind of rubber. We use some scrap mats. Put it under the legs. There's going to be a lot of water going through here. Sand is going to get washed away. And if you put a rubber mat under this area up here, you'll save yourself a lot of headaches. Your pitch won't change and it won't get unlevel. So always do that if you can. Now we're going to go and we're going to talk about hooking up the plumbing. All right, so this is how the unit ships. You're going to have one spray tube, has a bolt in it to put back pressure. Zip tie holds this, holds it steady on here. Then there's a secondary slot under here. It's hard to see, but there's a secondary. So you have your destruction chamber up in here. You have a secondary fan spray up in here, which settles it and double washes before it hits the grizzly bars, the aluminum grizzly bars. Then it comes out, and it comes out to this setup right here. Now, it comes set up for 1.5 inch. But what am I running? I'm running a 2-inch hose, so a 2-inch pump. So I have to do one of two things. I either have to reduce my pump to 1.5 at the pump and run 1.5-inch hose, or since I have so many 2-inch things around, what I'm going to do is you just go to Home Depot or Lowe's. That's all I've done. And I bought a couple pieces of PVC. This is a 2 to 1.5-inch reducer. You can just go grab them off the shelf, and then we've cut a little piece of 1.5 here just to fit inside both. So Trey, pull that piece off right there for me. There. So now what I've done is I have a slip 1.5 female, and I'm making a 1.5 male just to go inside. That's all I'm going to do. And so now I've got a 2-inch female, threaded female here, reduced down to my 1.5. So if you want to run 2-inch, and the reason why I say this is because that Champion pump over there comes with an intake. It comes with a lay flat hose, and so it's all 2-inch. So if you want to change it to 2-inch, you can run it 2-inch. Now I carry both of these with me at all times, just in case I want to change the pumps out. And that's how you convert that over to a 2-inch. Now, we've had people glue these parts in, and I know it looks stupid, but I tell people don't glue the parts in. You want to put a piece of Gorilla Tape. You want to dry it off, put a piece of Gorilla Tape here, put a piece of Gorilla Tape here, and maybe even a piece of Gorilla Tape here. Because after a while of running, these things are going to shake a little bit loose. There's going to be a lot of back pressure on them, and they're going to pop off while you're running. But the reason why we don't glue them is if something were to break, we can replace it within 10 minutes from a hardware store. If I want to change out from a 1-inch to a 2-inch, or 1.5 to a 2, I can change it out. If I want to dredge, I need to be able to take things off. So that's why we say don't bother gluing it. Just get some Gorilla Tape, dry it off, put Gorilla Tape on all these connections. So you can run that lay flat hose directly into this unit if you want, but lay flat hose, anytime you turn it, it's going to want to kink, and it's going to reduce your pressure in GPH a little bit. So what we do is we just take a piece of dredge hose, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of dredge hose, attach this up to here, then this is going to go, then that piece is going to attach here, and this piece is going to attach to my hose. Now my lay flat hose will stay nice and flat, and I can move this dredge hose or spa hose, whatever you want to call it, I can move this around and it will not kink on me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that these are dry, and I'm going to take these pieces right here. And all I do is I just go ahead and fold this flap over. I put a little flap on it so it comes off easy at the end of the day if I need to disconnect it for anything. But again, I always keep it, it's your option to glue or to tape, but I prefer just to tape. So now I'm ready to roll. All right, so today I'm running the Raptor. If you have any kind of clay, or it's just my recommendation, I would not run the Raptor without a clay claw. So let's explain the clay claw. Clay claw is optional. But the clay claw is basically, if you're running this unit, you normally have to keep your hand in here, hold the rocks and wash the rocks. So that's really what inspired this, is we made a metal hand. So these are fingers. You dump the material into here, it'll sit here and hold that material, it'll hold the rocks, and you'll see this big destruction zone up in here. When I feel that my rocks are clean enough, all I have to do is just lift up the clay claw. Once I lift up the clay claw, all those rocks will come down, but I control when they're going to go. So if you're going to buy a Raptor, get a clay claw. We now have them for the Mini and for the Super Hog as well. So make sure you have a clay claw in your unit. Really does, especially if you're dealing like we are. We're dealing with a ton of clay. The other thing it does is it kind of controls the feed rate on it too. Okay, so now we're going to level the unit left to right. So Trey, go ahead and dump some water in the header box. He's going to dump some water in the header box. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch this water as we come down. And what I want to see is I want to see what's happening with my sluice. And now what you can see, it's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious that you can see that my sluice is not level here. So Trey, why don't you bring that up a little bit? So he's going to raise that side up some. And let's pour some more water down. Much better. So now we can go ahead and prime our pump. I'm not going to go over the pump today. We'll just go ahead and we're going to prime our pump. We're going to pull the pump. We're going to start it. Get the water flowing through here. But I am going to show you the GPH that I'm running through here. Now these 2-inch Champion pumps are rated close to 9,000 GPH. I'm only going to run it at about 30% today, somewhere around there. All right, so we're going to prime our pump. I already see a problem though. Trey, what's my problem with my pump?
The hose is twisted.
Well, it's also not level. I'm more concerned about the pump being level than I am anything else. One thing you have to understand is that these pumps have an oil shutoff detector in them. So you want to make sure that that pump actually sits flat. So we're going to get a shovel, we're going to get this pump, we're going to get it laying flat. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put the intake out in the water. Now it's fall, so I put a double screen around my intake. So I have an intake that we built, and then I put a double screen around it, which is big and broad to keep the leaves off of it. I always talk about something and don't show it to you. So you can see what we've got is we've got a tube in here that is a normal intake tube, and then I've got a bag, a mesh bag over this. I've got rocks inside that mesh bag to keep it weighted down. I've made sure I'm near a deep spot. So all I have to do, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw that in there, and it'll sink once the water gets inside of it. All right, so we leveled out the pump, we dug out the pump, we leveled it. Now Trey's going to go ahead and just prime her up real quick. Okay, so we've started our pump, and we've got our pump running at about maybe 25% RPM. Not too fast. We go from our lay flat hose, we go up to our dredge hose, and here's what she looks like. Now, when you're starting this up, this is the destruction chamber. Here's the clay claw. You have your primary sprayer here. Then you have a secondary fan spray right here. Then it comes over the grizzly bars and drops in. We're going to have a little bit of water splash out because we're running hot today. In other words, what I'm doing is I'm running excess water because we're also looking for gems. Normally I would drop this down a little bit. Right, just dump a little bit of dirt inside. That's good. So now you can see this clay claw is doing its job. It's holding the rocks up here. It's coming down and hitting that secondary fan. Now, when I'm tuning this, you can see these rocks are hanging up here. I probably want to bring my header box up just a little bit because I want those rocks kind of free flowing off there. Put a little more material in. And what you're going to see is, you're going to see that the slurry turns nice and thick, and our goal is to have a constant slurry. We wanted a constant, steady slurry. You can see how this gets nice and thick and smooth. And you can see just how smooth that is down here. Beautiful looking. Again, this is multiple exposure zones. One set of an exposure zone, exchange zone over here. Very rough and aggressive. Everything stops, flares out, and it gets nice and smooth in here. Now, when I shut down, when I'm tuning this, I can see materials in here, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a little bit of black sand inside of each one of these grooves. I do not want these completely blown out. I want there to constant exchange action, and I want material in these mats. So that looks really good, that setup. You can see that I've got larger rocks up in here, and they are just absolutely crystal clean. Not a speck of dirt on them. That's what I want to see. Even like one of these aggressive, gnarly rocks, not a speck of dirt on them. Let's go ahead and let's run some more material before we change this header box angle until it's fall. Before we change this header box angle, let's go ahead and let's run some more dirt. So we're doing about, if you look at our buckets are about 2/3 of the way full, and we're going to be doing about a 20-second dump, let's say. So every 20 seconds, shake, 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 shake. We're going to run that bucket through in about 20 seconds. We'll do probably a total of 2 to 3 per minute, roughly. So we're going to be running about 100, 120 buckets an hour if we can keep up with the unit. So we are going to be inspecting for gems today, so I'm running my water intentionally a little bit hot so I have more water coming off the back. But we did raise this header box up, and now everything is coming out of there right into here. So go ahead and just dump, well, first of all, I want you to see this. Look at that. Look how pretty, look how clean and pretty that rock is. All these rocks, just absolutely spotless. All right, go ahead. So there's a whole bucket of pay. And you can see that now none of the rocks are staying in here. They're all zipping out of here and going into here. But what you can see, this is what I want you to see, is I'm going to have leaves, clay. But my rocks are going to be super, super clean in here. They're coming out absolutely spotless. That's the whole purpose behind that clay claw. Have the cleanest rocks with just about any other unit without any effort. We're not doing anything. All we're doing, we're not reaching our hand in, we're not doing anything. All we're doing is we're letting that clay claw and this destruction chamber do its job. Release them out. They all fall down here. Once in a while you'll have something strange like that. And then if I want to to check for gems. I can check. I got a hog pan down here. I can check for gems. That's about it. That's about it, guys. That's how we set up the Raptor. That's how we get it running. Prime the pump, pull the handle, get it set up, make all my pitches all right, and she's ready to run. As far as cleaning up the mats, I've got a separate video on our YouTube channel, how to clean the mats. Watch that. It's real easy. Pull them out, roll them, wash them. Nothing much. Anyways, we've got, go to our main website, goldhog.com, and the Raptor is on there, but we also have a separate website that we made with a lot of technical information and owner's manual, which is goldhighbanker.com. So we're starting to do that. We have a product on our website. We'll have the information on our website, but a lot of the technical stuff and owner's manuals, a lot of times we'll put on that website. So goldhighbanker.com is the other website, along with goldhog.com. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this product short. We're going to be doing one for every one of our videos. See you later, guys. Stop. We got to go run some dirt.